So the word on the grapevine is Amir Khan has decided to fight Terence Crawford instead of Kell Brook. And the date and venue that are circulating at the moment are April 20th at Madison Square Garden. This has not yet been confirmed. It's just rumors at the moment, but this is what the chatter is in boxing circles. Now, the majority of the British public would almost certainly prefer to see Amir Khan square off against Kell Brook because it's a domestic grudge match. The tension between them has been ongoing for several years, and it kind of came to a head recently with Amir Khan making some claims about Kell Brook's personal life, which I'm sure Kell Brook was definitely not happy about. So with all that kind of tension in the air and the bad blood, people want to see it come to a head. People want to see it culminate in an actual fight. Both fighters have got their weaknesses. Both fighters are maybe coming to the end, or at least, approaching the end of their careers. They're definitely in the evening of their days. So people want to see the grudge match happen before it's too late. People don't want to see it happen when they're both completely washed up. It wouldn't be as impactful as it is right now. At the moment, both guys are still viable world-level fighters. Kell Brook is the mandatory challenger, for example, to 154-pound world champion Jarrett Hurd. And Amir Khan has got this opportunity against Terence Crawford because he's ranked in the top 10. So, yeah, I can understand why the British public want to see Amir Khan versus Kell Brook right now. I would rather see it. I think that Kell Brook is a bigger puncher than Terence Crawford. He's just a bigger human being in general. He's not as good a fighter. But because he's bigger, you would imagine that he might be able to impose that size on Amir Khan, and the chance of a KO in that fight would be higher than Khan versus Crawford. Crawford has shown decent power at 147 pounds, but he's obviously a smaller guy moving up in weight, and he's a skill guy rather than a guy who's going to impose himself on you physically. So I certainly believe Terence Crawford has got the power to hurt Khan, the power to stop him, but he's not as physically imposing and not as powerful as a Kell Brook. So, I can see why some people would believe there's a higher chance of drama in Khan Brook rather than Khan Crawford. But be that as it may, Kell Brook is not a world champion. Terence Crawford is. Kell Brook is not in the top 5 of anyone's pound for pound list. Terence Crawford is. And so from Amir Khan's perspective, can we really hate on him for taking on somebody who is far more highly regarded in boxing circles than Kell Brook is at this juncture? Someone who is a world champion. Can we hate on Khan for taking that opportunity? It's such a strange situation with Amir Khan in his career, because whenever it looks like he's going to fight Kell Brook, he pulls back and he goes in a different direction. But the direction he goes in is usually somebody who, or is often somebody who is regarded as better than Brook. Remember when he did it with Canelo Alvarez? Looking like he wasn't going to go through with the Brook fight, and then fights Canelo instead. Somebody better than Brook. He's done the same here. So can we hate on Khan? I know everybody's frustrated in the UK. They want to see Khan Brook. But in the grand scheme of things, when Khan does talk about legacy, etc., and retiring and speaking about his career to his grandkids, having a Terence Crawford fight on your record is better in the grand scheme of things than having a Kell Brook fight on your record. Is it not? Am I wrong here? And what does he have to gain by beating Kell Brook right now? Well, a lot of money, for sure. And he would certainly get more money fighting Kell Brook than he's going to get fighting Terence Crawford. But other than that, there's no world title if he fights Brook. It would be seen as a domestic fight globally. People wouldn't look at it and say, oh, wow, Khan beat Brook. We need to elevate him up in our rankings. Like, it's not really going to have that much of an effect. But if Khan were to beat Crawford, whoa, that would be a huge upset. So I think Khan has more to gain in the long term fighting Terence Crawford than he does fighting Kell Brook. Fighting Kell Brook, yeah, it's a short-term financial bonanza. But long-term, what does it really mean? And losing to Terence Crawford will be far less damaging to his reputation than losing to Kell Brook. Terence Crawford, again, unbeaten, multi-weight world champion, top 5 pound for pound on most people's lists. You lose to that guy, oh well. You lost to potentially a modern great. But if you lose to Kell Brook, you lose to a guy who once held a version of a world title. His only real top-level win was against Sean Porter. Next time he stepped up to the top level against Errol Spence, he got dealt with. And obviously before that, Golovkin, but we won't count that. That was at middleweight. It was a loss, obviously, but in terms of his welterweight legacy, we don't really care about the Golovkin thing. It doesn't tarnish him that much because how many welterweight champions could go up and fight Golovkin and beat him? You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, the 2 times that Kell Brook stepped up to the top level at welterweight, he won a fight against Sean Porter, but then got beat against Errol Spence. So Kell Brook hasn't really done that much, has he, at world level? He hasn't been involved in that many relevant fights at welterweight or 154. So what does Khan beating him really mean? And yes, I am playing devil's advocate here because, truth be told, I would rather see Khan versus Brook, just from an entertainment standpoint. But, as I say, to play devil's advocate, to look at it from Khan's perspective, Khan is already a millionaire. I can't imagine he's desperate for money. Khan fights, in my view, a lot for ego and pride. And for his ego, he'd like to get in there with a Crawford and try and beat him. And Khan has always been somebody who believes in his ability to box. When he comes up against someone who's going to fight him, take it to him, that's where Khan tends to have problems, and that's where he believes, that's where he's admitted he tends to have problems. But when somebody tries to box him, Khan seems to be very confident that he can't be outboxed. We'll see. Terence Crawford, you would imagine, is going to try and outbox Amir Khan. Will he take it to him? Remember, Khan is definitely not smaller than Crawford, that's for sure. Can he impose himself on Khan? Maybe he can. I mean, I don't think Khan is the naturally physically strongest welterweight out there. When he was at 140, people like Lamont Peterson were able to bully him. When he fought Chris Algieri, who is not the physically strongest guy around, Algieri was able to bully Amir Khan around the ring. You guys remember that? And compare that to how Chris Algieri looked when he fought Pacquiao and when he fought Errol Spence. Those guys ragdolled him. So it just gives you a comparison in terms of physical strength between Amir Khan and some other top welterweights. I don't think he's that naturally physically strong. So perhaps Terence Crawford will be able to impose himself on him. We'll see. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about all the points I've raised in this video. If Khan Crawford goes ahead, will you be disappointed? Would you rather see Khan face Kell Brook? And by the way, one thing I do have to mention as well is this is the first opponent that Terence Crawford, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong here, I can't remember who promoted the last guy that Terence Crawford fought, but this is the first time that Terence Crawford will be facing one of the Al Haymon welterweights. And I know Amir Khan recently said that I believe he said or inferred that his deal with Al Haymon is over, Amir Khan. Has he re-signed with Haymon? Is he, on a hiatus from Haymon? I mean, I don't know what's going on there. But Khan was one of the Haymon welterweights for a very long time. Terence Crawford is finding it difficult securing fights against the Heyman welterweights. It's kind of a very incestuous little world there that Al Heyman has created in the 147-pound division. It's difficult to penetrate, difficult for anybody to get in there who isn't signed with Al Heyman. So, yeah, Khan will be, I don't know, a sign of things to come, hopefully. Again, Khan may not be Heyman guy anymore, but it's only recently that he departed from Heyman. So, hopefully it's a sign of things to come. Hopefully Terence Crawford, if he gets past Khan, if that fight takes place, he can go in and fight some people who are still signed to Heyman. The Keith Thurmans of the world, the Errol Spencers of the world, the Sean Porters of the world, even the Danny Garcias of the world. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.